Especially as a solo founder, it can be quite lonely or isolating sometimes. You're already going against the norm by starting your own business. My name's Kate. I'm the founder of Expand Prosthetics, and we make 3D printed prosthetics for kids that can grow with them. We've been doing that for a couple of years now, and we're working on our first product, which is the Expand, which we're looking to launch pretty soon. I had the first idea for this business back in, it must have been 2018. I'd got a dissertation project to do, and I could choose to do anything I wanted, and I studied product design engineering. So I was looking around all summer at what I might want to do. And I met a little girl called Zoe. She was 2 years old at the time. She was born missing part of her left arm, and she'd never had a prosthetic. And after I got talking to her mum, I realised that there was an opportunity, because children's prosthetics were really hard to get and they weren't very well designed. So I then spent the next year as my dissertation project designing a prosthetic for Zoe, and that's really where the business began. By the end of the year, we'd got like a basic working prototype, so I knew that the concept was there and it wasn't quite refined, but it was on its way, and there was scope for this to become a real product and not just a test or a project, but actually it could turn into a real business. So I did my degree at Loughborough University. That's where I did my dissertation project. And then after my dissertation, that was my undergraduate year, I then had a master's year following on from that. And so I got talking to a lot of people at the university, got involved with their enterprise sort of ecosystem. They taught me a lot about business. I had no idea before that summer about business, about enterprise, anything like that. So I spent the summer learning as much as I could, and then the next year joined the enterprise program at Loughborough. And so my evenings and weekends and my spare time then became developing the product and learning how to run a business. Come to the end of my degree, the end of my master's degree, I know a bit about business. I've got a little bit of funding behind me, and so I wanted to carry on, and I needed somewhere to run the business from. And so Loughborough had an incubator called The Studio that I then applied for and was successful at getting membership to, which meant that I had a base and a location for the next few years that I'd be able to work from and to continue developing the business. Some of the unique features that we've got in our prosthetic is obviously it's designed to be 3D printed, which instantly makes it a bit of an anomaly, especially in the world of prosthetics. And so that means that we can design things custom, that we can make them deliberately lightweight by altering how much infill is inside them. So we don't have to have them 100% solid on the inside. They can have holes, they can have cavities, and we can reduce weight that way. And it also means we can do fun things like print them in different colors. And one of the things that I've really enjoyed being able to do is be really creative with how we make them. And so that means that we've been able to build in joints within each other. And so instead of having to put the parts together afterwards, they come out of a printer already working and ready to be used. And one of the key features of the prosthetics that we've designed is that the product can grow with you. And so again, it's one of those inbuilt features that you can let the prosthetic out as you grow, which means that instead of having to replace your prosthetic every time you need new shoes because you've grown a bit, you can let it out and it will still be useful. Some of the cool bits about this prosthetic is obviously it can grow, and the main way it does that is by adjusting in length like this. But it can also go in width, so we can bring these in and out on the side and fit those to your arm. But also up on the top here, you can change out the whole palm or change out the fingers or change out the thumb to make those a bit bigger or a bit smaller so that you can have the perfect fit for your prosthetic. So working in an incubator has been really useful, mostly on the collaboration side and just for getting that instant feedback. I wouldn't have known about the SolidWorks Entrepreneur Program without being in an incubator, because I heard it from someone else who I was working with in the same space that was like, have you heard about this? I know you've been using this software. why don't you apply for it? And so without working in a space like this, I might never even have come across it. You're already going against the norm by starting your own business. But by bringing yourself into an incubator, you instantly have other people around you. You're not just working by yourself, you're working in the same space as others. And so you're able to get feedback, the interaction with other people. And I think it really boosts your confidence because you see other people doing the same things as you. As we're moving forward with this business, obviously we're looking to launch it, and sometimes without being able to show the product in person, it can be really hard to understand what we're doing or exactly what the product is like. Being able to have a nice 3D design or a really good render that we can show to someone or send across to them can really help convey exactly what we're doing in a way that wouldn't be possible without those visuals. So if we can't show them the product in person, what we like to do is send across those images that we've been able to create in SolidWorks and just give a better picture of exactly what we're doing. That we could really quickly test and see how the design was doing. And sometimes we didn't even need to print out parts. We could just see from where things were clashing or where they weren't fitting right, that we needed to work on something. And so it's been really helpful having SolidWorks to work in and to design everything in, because it's got all of the features that we need to be able to rapidly go through design changes. The support from Solid Solutions has been really useful. I mean, even in a pandemic, we were still developing our designs. Obviously, everyone was at home, everyone was working mostly by themselves, and developments were still going on. And so I was working on a new design, a new iteration, and got really stuck and just couldn't seem to get any further. And so I ended up calling Solid Solutions after dinner one evening, and they were still there and still able to help, which I definitely wasn't expecting, but was very glad that they were able to help that day rather than having to wait till the next morning.